All right, hi everyone. I'm Cody. I'm a marketing specialist here at QNAP, and I'm here with our product manager, Deval.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
And today we're going to be discussing how you can use QNAP to sync files across devices, similar to Dropbox, only you can keep the data on your own device rather than on someone else's servers. And so we'll start with a quick introduction to file syncing on QNAP and some of the advantages of using QNAP for file synchronization. We'll touch on the various Qsync apps used for file synchronization on QNAP and then touch on a few of the Qsync features. Then Dval is going to present a live demo to give us kind of a hands-on look at how this works. And then we'll have a Q&A time at the end for you guys. So Qsync is QNAP's app designed to sync files across devices. It functions similar to Dropbox, except you own the storage. So you install the Qsync app both on the connecting devices and on the QNAP NAS. And then whenever you upload a file to the Qsync folder, it will sync with a Qsync folder on the NAS and any other Qsync folders on the other connected devices. And Qsync makes it easy to share files with your other devices or with friends or colleagues. If you're taking photos or videos on a mobile device that you want to later edit on a computer, or you're trying to quickly share files from one computer to another, Qsync is an excellent tool for that. Qsync is compatible across platforms, so whether you're using a Mac or PC, or iPhone or Android, you can sync your files across the devices. And since you own the storage yourself, there are no monthly fees to use Qsync. And Qsync uses 3 apps to manage and access files with Qsync. So there's Qsync Central, Qsync Client, and Qsync Pro. Qsync Central is the app that is accessed on the QNAP interface. It is where you manage users, folders, versioning, and other settings. Qsync Central is the main place of control for Qsync. Then Qsync Client is the app that's used to connect to Qsync if you're using your Mac or PC. So you can sync your files with your workstations and computers and such. And then Qsync Pro is the Qsync mobile app that enables you to sync files from your mobile device or tablet. And Qsync also has a feature called space saving mode, which allows users to view files stored on the NAS in Qsync without downloading it locally to the computer. If you then choose to open the file to work on it, it will be automatically downloaded to your local computer. But once you're done, you can still free up the space so that it's online only again. There's also an automated free up space mode that will move files to online only when available space drops below a certain percentage that you specify in settings. And QNAP's Qsync supports 2 different types of folders. One is just a standard shared folder. The other is called team folder. Shared folders have more permission settings for various users, such as read only, read write, and deny, whereas with team folder, everyone will have read-write privileges. So if you have a large group of users that may need various permissions, the shared folder will likely work best because you can have different permissions for different users, and you can customize the permissions. However, if you have a smaller group of users or just yourself with various devices, team folder may be the most suitable. And Qsync's version control helps you with any other users access. It helps keep, obviously multiple versions of a file. So as you're accessing the files with multiple users, if someone made a change to the file you weren't expecting, you can go back and look at a previous version. So that can be especially helpful when working in a team or group of collaborators. All right, and so now I'm going to pass things over to Deval, and he'll be giving us a live demo to give us a hands-on look at Qsync.
All right, thank you very much, Cody. All right, so to use Qsync, Qsync is an application that is already available on our App Center. So you just have to download the application if you don't have it. Now, Qsync, as Cody mentioned, is the application. If you're using Dropbox, OneDrive, or Google Drive, it's actually a very similar application. It has most of the features that those providers will provide you, like space saving mode, versioning. But instead of paying a monthly fee to those websites or to those services, you can use this application if you have a QNAP NAS. We provide this application as a free of charge application, and you don't need to pay any monthly fee. On top of that, all the data stays within your own device. Nothing is uploaded to our cloud or nothing is uploaded to any third-party clouds. Your own storage is your own personal cloud. So with Qsync, you can create your own personal cloud with an application on your computer that automatically syncs a folder on your computer, and you don't need to upload anything or download anything. All you have to do is just work on that particular folder on the computer, and everything is synced to your QNAP NAS. Now, if you don't have Qsync installed, you can visit App Center just for search for Qsync. It's called Qsync Central, and once it's installed, you don't have to do much here. It's all the default application, all the default setting is it's very easy to set up, and the default settings is ready to go. So you just install the application, install the software on your computer, and then that's it. Now, once you install Qsync, you can you have to install application on your computer. So we have applications for Windows and Mac, as well as Android and iPhone as well. So just click on the Windows icon and download the application. Once the application is installed, you will see this Qsync icon with a checkbox, which means that it's the application that is properly synced. Now you will see a folder that is created on Qsync. This is a folder that is that the QNAP has created on your computer. Anything you upload here is automatically updated on the QNAP NAS. Now, what we have, a new feature on Qsync is called space saving mode, which means that the files that you're not using on your computer will not be synced on this computer. So because the reason is that the Qsync can have, like, this particular NAS has about 20 terabytes of space. Now, not all computers will have 20 terabytes, right? If you have a very large Qsync folder, but you're not using all that space on your computer, that means that, let's say you have 10 terabytes worth of Qsync data, but at any given time, you're only working on, let's say, 100 gigabytes of data. What Qsync will do is will only download that 100 gigabytes of data on your computer. The rest, it will show you that there is data, but it will not download it on the computer. The way you will know that the data is on your computer versus the data is on the cloud or on the QNAP is this icon, the status icon. Green checkbox means that the data is residing on that computer, and the cloud icon means that the data is there, but it's not on this computer. It's on the QNAP NAS. So that's it. Because I'm using these folders a lot, Qsync will download a copy on the computer and will keep that copy on the computer. So I don't need to re-download every time. But let's say if I want to, let's say if something is there on here, right? Let's say if there's something there here, and if like certain folders are already there here, and if I go to that folder, right here, if I so if this file is not on the computer, see there's a cloud icon which says it's not on the computer, but if I double click on the icon, it will download it and will open the file on the QNAP NAS, or will download the file and it will save it on the computer. So now you'll see a green checkbox. Now let's say if you're done with this file and you don't need to use this file any longer on the computer, you can just right click, click on Show More option, go to Space Saving Mode, and click on Free Up Space. What this will do is this will now delete the file on the computer, but will keep a copy of this particular file on the QNAP NAS. Let me show you how this works. So on the QNAP NAS, you can visit File Station and go to Qsync folder, and you will see all the files that you have on. You will see all the files that are on my computer. These are the files that are on the QNAP NAS. And if you go to the roadmap folder, and you will see that particular file right here. So that's the file that is there. So the file is on the QNAP NAS, but it's not on the computer. You're just saving the space on the computer, so it's not using the space. Remember, computers have limited space, so you don't need to download everything on the computer. You can do this for a whole folder as well. Let's say you're done with this whole folder, you can just right click on the folder, click on Show More options, go to Space Saving Mode, and click on Free Up Space. QNAP will now delete all the files from the computer and will put it on the NAS. So the NAS will have that folder, and it will have all the contents, but it will not be on the computer. So that's the new space saving mode that is available on the QNAP Qsync. You can also set up what we call as free up automatically. So let's say your computer is running out of space. What you can do is you can automatically force the QNAP Qsync to do space saving automatically when the computer space is less than maybe 5%, 10%, or 15%. So when the computer's hard drive starts filling up, and let's say you set up 50%, and it reaches 85% of the computer's hard drive space, QNAP will start saving up space on the Qsync folder. So what it will do is it will see what files you're using the most. It will keep that file on the computer, but it will free up the rest of the space. You can also do by frequency as well. So you can ask the QNAP to do on every Monday, do the space saving mode, and it will delete everything from the QNAP Qsync folder and will keep it on the QNAP NAS. You can also manually do that as well. Click on Free Up Space Now, and it will delete everything from the Qsync folder on the computer, but it will keep a copy of everything on the Qsync folder on the NAS. So that's the space saving mode on the QNAP. Another feature that Qsync provides you is adding multiple shared folders. So view managed pair. Now, as I mentioned, QNAP will, by default, it will create a Qsync folder on the NAS and it will create a Qsync folder on the computer. But let's say you want to sync another folder on the computer with a Qsync folder on the NAS. What you have to do is you have to create a shared folder on the QNAP NAS first. So go to Control Panel, go to Shared Folder, click on Create New Shared Folder, and then just name anything you want it to, and then make sure you create a folder on the QNAP NAS. All right, once the folder is created, then you have to go to Qsync Central app on the QNAP NAS, go to Shared Folder, and enable that to be used with Qsync. All right, so you have to do is see the new folder that we created. You just have to click on Grant Access. And you can also do special permissions as well for that folder. You can ask which user has access to that folder, which user does not have access to the folder. You can also do permissions as well. But once the folder has been granted access, you can go here, click on Add, and then select that folder, the Qsync folder, and then click which folder on the computer you want to sync. what I do is on my personal Qsync folder, I actually sync the whole desktop. Click on OK, then click on Apply. So what this will do is my whole desktop will now be synced with Qsync. So I'm not going to do right now because that will start syncing and it will take some time. But what will happen is that anything, all the folders on my desktop will now be synced with the QNAP NAS. So you don't have to worry about any files on the desktop. All the desktop files that you save, let's say you create a new file on the you create a new folder, you create any files, all the files and folders on the desktop will automatically be synced with the QNAP NAS. So you can keep working on your desktop, and any files you upload or copy on your desktop will automatically be synced with the QNAP NAS. So that's another way to do a backup from the computer. Let's say if the whole computer, let's say the computer crashes and you lose all, let's say you lose the whole drive of the of your computer, at least whatever that is saved on the desktop will be backed up on the QNAP NAS. So when you get a new computer, you just have to resync the desktop folder. So you go to add again and then select the Qsync folder and then select desktop again and then click on apply and we'll start re-downloading back all the files that were synced on the new computer. And then you can do the space saving mode if you wanted to. You can also select which folder you wanted to do as well, specific folder. So this is selective sync is something that Dropbox offered as well as Google Drive. So let's say you don't want to sync all the files from the QNAP Qsync. You can select I just want to sync the roadmap folder on this computer, and it will only download the roadmap folder. This is different from space saving mode because it will not even show you these folders on the local computer. It will only show you the roadmap because that's what you told QNAP to do. So QNAP will only download the roadmap folder on the computer. The rest it will not even show you as well. So that's another selective sync as well that QNAP offers. Another feature that QNAP offers with Qsync is versioning. What the versioning allows you to do is, so you have to first of all enable versioning. The versioning is not enabled by default. To enable versioning, you go to QNAP NAS, go to Qsync Central Application, and go to version control. Under versioning control, you have to enable versioning on first of all, and then on the Qsync folder, and go to advanced, and then it will check how many, and you can tell how many versions of the file the QNAP want you to keep. And you can now, when you click check, it will tell you how much space the version is using on the QNAP NAS. So if you have QNAP NAS with multiple terabytes of data or multiple terabytes of space, you can use versioning as a method of another backup. So let's say a lot of people are using Qsync, and then you can use version control. So let's say if somebody is editing a lot of Word documents and you want to make sure that you have at least certain copies of older data, so you can use version as a method. Let me show you how versioning works. So once you enable version, and you can also say specific folders on the QNAP NAS. So you can say because not all folders on Qsync is important to you. Some folders may just be random folders that you don't want versioning on. So you can ask QNAP to do versioning only on certain folders. Let's say PPT is like PowerPoint. So definitely you want PowerPoint to be as version control. So you can add that. You can add another folder as well, like roadmap folders. So you can add multiple folders, or you can just ask QNAP to do all files and folders to be on versioning. So once you have done that, click on apply all. So now, as the versioning is enabled, what you can actually do is on your Qsync folder, um, yeah, on the Qsync folder, you can now, if you want to check if there is any versions, you can right click on a particular file, go to show more options, go to Qsync and click on view previous versions. it will open up a browser on the computer, it will open up a file station on the computer, and it will start showing you if the file has any kind of version. So it does have a version. So right now I have two versions of this particular file. I have so today's the 2nd of May, but I have somebody edited the file on this or today. But let's say I had an original copy of that particular file from yesterday, you can see that that file is available. So now Qsync allows you to do is you either restore the file to to the original content from yesterday, or you can click on download. What this will do is this will now have two copies of that particular folder. So right here I have pricing right here. So now I can have two copies of the same file. Sorry about that. Let me first rename the file because it's the same file name. So now I have two files of two versions of the same file, so I can actually compare side by side how the each version looks like. So so in case if I wanted to so if I wanted to just copy the changes, I can just download that particular file, just copy the changes from the old file to the new file, or vice versa from the new file to the old file, so I can compare them, or I can just restore it. I don't care about the new version. I just want to go back in time to the old versions. I can just click on restore, and it will create. It will just restore from yesterday's copy. Now, if I edit the file, it should be able to create a new version. So if I go back here, and let's say if I create line, just edit that file and save it, QNAP will now sync it. Now go back right here, go to show more options, and go to space saving mode. Sorry, not space saving, Qsync, and then click on view previous version. Now you see there's a third copy now because I edited the file today. So you see there's another version that the QNAP created. That's how you can use versioning to control if somebody edits the file in the wrong way. So and only admins can see this file. They cannot Local users cannot delete the file. Only admins can delete the file. Local users can see the old copy, but they cannot delete the copy. So in this way, QNAP will allow you to keep at least multiple versions of the same file. So if somebody edits a file in the wrong way, you can just go back yesterday, day before yesterday, or even months ago if you have enough space and restore that old data. So at least you have a copy of that as well. So that's how you can use versioning to at least control or at least have a safe method to make sure you have multiple copies of the same data. So when you editing the data, at least in your mind um, you have at least some way to go back and restore the old file. So at least um, you have that peace of mind that at least I have copies of that particular file. So and QNAP does that all automatically. You just have to enable version control on Qsync. Another feature that QNAP offers is for users who are working in teams. So what we call as team folder. Team folder will allow you to have one folder that you can share. So you have to select a folder, and then you can select which user you want to share this with. And click OK. And what will happen is that now all these three users will get a copy of this team folder. So now anything they do on that particular folder will now be available and will now be seen by all three users. So so if they put anything in that particular folder, they will all be able to see together. So let me see if I can show you a demo of that. So I'm going to log in as a user. So if I go to file station, so this is the another user I shared the team folder with. So if we go to his Qsync folder, I have to accept it. I have to accept the folder. Sorry about that. So once the team folder is shared with other users, you will see the shared the team folder icon. So if I upload anything here, they will all be able to see that particular folder on their own Qsync accounts. So see right here, it's now available on their own account. So in this way, you can use team folder to create, let's say if there is a project that multiple teams are working, they can all you can create a team folder for that particular project and share it with those people who are working on that project, and they can all collaborate. So if they want to share something with the team, they can just upload it here. Like if they want to upload like Excel files, if they want to upload any PPTs, or if they want to upload any kind of video editing or photo editing files, or any type of file they want to share it with the team. Once they're done editing that, they can just upload it to the team folder, and everyone can see that particular file on their own folders. And then now they can all work. And so let's say if one person is done, he can let the other person know that I'm done, I have uploaded the file. So the other person can start working on that particular file, and they don't need to share, they don't need to copy that to their to a USB drive and then physically give the copy to them, or they don't need to now email the copy to the second person. They can just upload the file to their own team folder, and they can see whoever uploaded that, and then they can now open that file, edit further, and then save the copy, and they can now share that finished product with either the customer or either the manager. So this way you can eliminate having multiple copies of a single file, either via email, or like you don't need to share it with using Teams, Skype. You don't need to do all of that. That creates multiple versions or multiple uh, same files on each of their computer. All they have to do is work on the file, upload it on the team folder, and everyone can see a copy of that. And you can use versioning as a method to keep track of whoever is editing that. If somebody edits a file by mistake, you can just right click, go to the version, and just recopy the old version. So in this way, you can make sure that the file is not edited by default or by edited by mistake, or even if there's a corrupted file, you can just restore the copy from the previous version. That's how team folder works. Last thing I want to show you is how you can use Qsync to share. So let's say you're working on a project, you're done with it, you want to share this file with your customer. All you have to do is on your computer, you can just now right click on the file, go to show more options, use Qsync, and click on share link. And then you can either email the copy of that particular file, or you can just create a link of that particular file. You can also do is you can expire the link as well. You can say this link is only valid until tomorrow. After that, the link will no longer be available and they cannot use that link. Or you can just click on always valid so they can use this link is always alive and they can always download the file in the future. You can also password protect the file as well, so you can keep a copy of that file. Sorry. So when they're accessing the link, they have to enter a password. Only then they'll be allowed to access the data. So once you have done all of that, click on apply. And then you will see this link. You can just copy that and share it with your users. They can just enter that link on the computer and you will now see that particular file right here. They can download the file on their own computer as well. So that's how easy it is to share files to your customers, your managers, or whoever you wanted to share this with. You can now share it directly from your computer as long as the computer, that particular folder is synced with Qsync. So just right click, even you can do this for the whole folder as well. You can just right click on the folder, show more options, go to Qsync and share link. This way you can share a whole link, a whole folder using one link to your customers or to your managers, or whoever you wanted to share this with. That's a quick demo of how Qsync can benefit you, and then you can stop using Dropbox or OneDrive and just migrate all the data off those paid services and just use QNAP NAS to create your own personal cloud. All right, back to you, Cody.
All right. Thank you, Duvall. So now we're just going to open things up for a Q&A. I see we have a few questions already, but yeah, if anyone has any questions regarding Qsync and its features, we'd love to go over those. So you can just type your questions in the question box.
All right. So the first question is, can Qsync be used through a VPN connection? Yes. So you can use Qsync via a VPN connection. So once you have the VPN set up, you can just use the local IP address when setting up Qsync, and that will allow you to use through a VPN connection. So another question is, what if we want to go from QNAP to QNAP NAS? So for that, you have to use hybrid backup sync. So you can use the hybrid backup sync to do a two-way sync between one QNAP to the second QNAP, and then whoever edits any data from either of the QNAP, they will be uploaded by together. Another question is, can sync be set up to uni instead of bidirectional? How does it decide which file is a write or up to date during sync? What if both files are being synced and have been modified? What if autosync is set up to sync 3 or more devices plus the NAS, and all devices all devices have been modified to their own addition and deletion? That's a good question, Joe. So what QNAP does is that if it detects that multiple files are being edited at the same time, QNAP will do a conflict. So it will do is it will create multiple files with the conflict. It will so instead of deleting the file, it will just create multiple files with conflict. So and then you can set up the config policy on Qsync. Let me see if I can show you that real quick. All right, sorry about that. So policy. So it will ask you, so it detects an issue with a file that has multiple copies. So it will ask, you can set up to ask you for each file. So each file, if it detects a conflict, it will tell you, oh, there's a file that has been edited or modified. What do you want me to do with this particular file? So it will tell you can either rename the file or delete the old file or keep this file or keep both copies. So it will tell you what you want to do with each particular copy of the file. So that's another way to control. And and then how does it decide that uh, during the sync which file is updated? So it will use your computers and the QNAP NAS's time to understand which copy is the latest copy, and if it detects the conflict, as I mentioned, they will tell you which file, and they will ask you which file you want to keep. You can also change it to rename the files on the NAS, rename the files on the computer, or replace the files as well. So the rename on the NAS on the computer. So if the computer is creating the file conflict, it will just rename the file on the computer. If there are different devices that are editing the files, you can ask to rename on the NAS, because the NAS is now handling from different devices as well. Hope that answered your question. How about security? So that's a great question. So now, because QNAP now does not recommend using port forwarding, we recommend using my QNAP Cloud. If you want QNAP to use, if you want QNAP to be synced over the internet, you can use my QNAP Cloud. So you no longer need to open the port. So it's very secure. It will all be SSL certified. So it's all encrypted connection. So no longer need to open any ports. So everything is encrypted. So the connection from the computer to the connection to your NAS is all encrypted. Now, if you want to access the file remotely, or if you're using a laptop that has Qsync, or if you have a phone that uses Qsync and you're traveling and you want to do remote connection. Now, if you are using everything, let's say you're using a computer on the same network as the QNAP NAS, the QNAP will not even touch your internet connection. You can actually set up something called LAN sync. So when you enable this particular checkbox under settings, under advanced, what this will do is this will not even use your internet connection. QNAP will keep a local connection between your QNAP NAS and the computer, and everything will happen on your local area network. So you will not even touch your internet connection, or you will not even touch my QNAP cloud. Everything will happen locally. It will use your local IP address to sync between the QNAP and the computer. That's how you can prevent it to connect to through the internet. Everything stays on the same network, and you can even disconnect internet. Qsync does not require internet to work. You can actually disconnect internet from your QNAP NAS, and Qsync will keep working as long as it has some way to connect to the QNAP NAS. That will be through either a direct connection using the network cable or using a LAN sync. So as long as he has some kind of direct connection to the QNAP NAS, Qsync will keep working. It does not require internet connection. Another question we have is, do we have a video to learn more about Qsync? Yes, we actually have a YouTube a channel called QNAP College, and we actually have some videos on Qsync available already. Just look up QNAP College, and you can access that video as well. Another question is, do you have a copy of today's seminar? Yes, we usually send out a follow-up email with today's recording, and you can access the recording. And play back the recording, and then to understand, or just to see if you have missed anything. Will you have more live info like this one in the future? Yes, Jimmy. So we do monthly webinars. So just join our. I think you already are in our mailing list since you are on this particular webinar. So just keep an eye out on our future webinar or workshop emails invitations. We do this every month. if I want to give access to the internet like OneDrive, of course you can do this. You can use my QNAP Cloud. So on your QNAP NAS, let me show you if I have a way to show this. So because my QNAP Cloud uses a secure connection, you can just set up my QNAP Cloud, and then you can just give them your your personal link using my QNAP Cloud, which is a smart URL. So you can use this, you can copy this and give this to your customers or remote users, and they can just put that in the QNAP Qsync information. Let me show you. When they're setting up Qsync on their computers, so on the search that, instead of that, they will just put that remote link that you provided, and then just give them their own account information, and then I click on OK, and they will be able to join your Qsync, and they will have their own folder as well. Every single user you invite to use your Qsync will have their own personal folder, and nobody else can see what data they're uploading. Only admins will be able to see the data they're uploading, but the rest of the users, the local users, cannot see what's going on. Another question we have is, one of my customers, an engineering firm, they need to share drawings and files remotely to several employees. Do you have a demo video that that will be easy for them to see the advantage of using a QNAP NAS to accomplish this? I'm going to send you I'm going to post my email address to this to the group chat. You can actually send me your email, and we can actually either do a live demo for you, or I'll see if I can find something that closest matches to what you're actually trying to demo, and then if you have a video, we'll share it with you as well. Send me an email, and we can talk about that using the email. Once in a while, I get an error. Another question is, once in a while, I get an error that the folder is not ready for sync. When I pair up a team folder to local folder, how do I fix it? I've actually never seen this issue before. Have you submitted a ticket for this? If not, can you submit a ticket at this website? And if you do already have a ticket submitted, you have my email address. Can you send me an email, and I can see what's going on, and then I can actually help you with that as well. If you do submit an email, if you're not getting a proper, if you haven't received a response, let me know. Just keep an eye out for my email, and then just send me an email, and I can work with you on getting that issue resolved. But I've never seen that issue before, so I'm not really sure what's going on. I would need more information on what's going on, and then I can help you out with that as well. Another question is it possible to back up a Qsync folder to a remote third-party server for an extra security? So yes, you can use a hybrid backup sync application to upload your Qsync data over to, let's say, cloud, let's say AWS or Google Cloud, and then keep another copy of your Qsync. Actually, that's actually a good method to ensure that you have. So because what we recommend is always having 3-2-1 backup strategy, having 3 copies of your data, 2 on different mediums and 1 offsite. You can use hybrid backup sync to have the 3rd copy on a cloud server. Will the video be available? Yes. Hopefully we'll send out a video within the 48 hours, and you will see a video or a copy of the video as well. What are the cons of enabling LAN sync? Are some of the features not available? Why would we not want to enable this all the time? Well, there are actually no cons on actually having this LAN sync enable. So you should always be using LAN sync. All the features that I showed you are all available on LAN sync as well as remote sync as well. Actually, I'm actually having a feature request to have this enabled by default, so you no longer need to have that enabled, or you no need to enable this. A general question: When there's an error, a sync error, where can I find the details like a log on Qsync error? So you can actually go to your QNAP NAS and open up the Qsync Central, and there's event log right here. And this way you will see that actually you can also use this to monitor who's doing what, who is editing the data, who's uploading it, who's downloading data, who's renaming a file. So you can do this, you can use this as an audit method as well. It will log everything that you're doing, other users are doing, everyone else is doing. So that's another good way to do this as well. If a customer has their own NAS, can they still use QNAP Cloud to connect to yours? Of course, they can use QNAP Cloud to connect to your NAS instead of using their own NAS. Can you explain again how to get a copy? Just wait for an email. You will have an email. You will have a follow-up email. Just keep an eye out on your email address, and they will have a link at the bottom to replay the video. Another question is, but I meant a possibility to back up my Qsync folder to my QNAP NAS to a friend QNAP or other. I would need more information on what I'm trying to do. Vincent, you have a copy of my email. Can you send me an email and then we can discuss this further on what you're trying to achieve? Hopefully, I can help you answer that as well. But I'm not really sure what are you trying to achieve on this one. Can you host a live content with the sharing feature, stream video, host a website? You use Qsync to stream video and host a website? Is that the question? You can actually host website on QNAP NAS using the web server feature, if that's what you're asking. Streaming videos, we don't have an app that actually does streaming video, but once you have a video, you can actually use Video Station to share a link and they can actually access the video and playback as well. Is it possible to use OS-based thing like QNAP Sync? Lenny, I would need more information on what that means. Another question: how to set up QNAP in order to for users outside to find the unit to access the files of Qsync. So as I mentioned before, you can use the My QNAP Cloud and share your smart URL, and then just it'll be something like qlink.to your NAS name, and you can use that to share so they can externally other users can connect. So that was all the questions for today. We're gonna wait for another minute to see if there's any further questions. If not, thank you all for joining.